Hey, it's me. Welcome to my channel. This is episode 32 of Local 58 TV. It's about time I did another manhunt episode. The last one I did was well received, so let's get into it. In the spirit of this series, I've tried to find the most obscure and rare clip I could. Now, if you know what this clip is, then good for you. But even if you don't, stick around because there are some very interesting things going on here that have nothing to do with the subject matter. And I think you might be interested anyway. So, like before, I'm not going to tell you where or when this clip is from. You'll just have to figure that out for yourself. All I will say is that it's not from the United States. I can't quite place the accent, but I assume it's either Australian or British. That being said, the way that he speaks, it sounds like he could be from pretty much anywhere. He could be from Louisiana, or Mississippi, or the Ozarks, or West Virginia. It just sounds like a Southerner, and maybe he is. Maybe this was filmed by an American in a foreign country. I honestly have no idea. The only other clue I am willing to give you is that this man is trying to remember something that happened during World War II. If you need more help than that, I guess I could tell you that the reason why this man can't remember is because he was drunk at the time, but that would be cheating. So you're going to have to figure all of that out for yourselves. Now, let's watch the clip. Alright, so first off, I should probably explain the setup. This man is clearly sitting in his living room. Looks like he's alone, although you can hear another man's voice in the background. He has a drink in one hand and a pack of cigarettes in the other. And they pan away because he's about to light up. They also pan away because they don't want you to see his face. He turns away from the camera, and now we see that he has a blank wall behind him. There's a framed picture on top of a dresser. It looks like a wedding picture, but it's impossible to make out any details. And on the other side of the room, there's a television set. Again, it's hard to make out details, but it looks like it's from the 60s or 70s. Anyway, he takes a long drag from his cigarette and remembers something. He takes another drag and tells the story. Every time I sneeze, something gets closer. Can you guess what he's talking about? What do you think it is? I'll tell you what it is. Every time I sneeze, something gets closer. It was during the war. A couple of us were in this thing. We were under fire. This fella beside me, he got hit. His guts came out. I never thought I could have been so frightened in my life. I'd never seen anything like that before. I put my hand over my mouth, and I leaned back. Then I thought, what am I doing? So I went over and I started helping them carry him out. On the way out, I sneezed. I turned around to the bloke next to me and said, "Every time I sneeze, something gets closer." He didn't answer. He just looked at me. I said, "Every time I sneeze, something gets closer." He didn't say anything again. He just kept looking at me, shook his head, and carried on walking. I felt awful. I didn't know whether to go after him or stay where I was, so I stayed where I was. Then somebody came along and said, "You all right there? Are you sure you're all right?" I said, "Yeah, I'm all right." He said, "You're not all right. You're the bloke who shot Private Jones, aren't you?" I said, "What?" He said, "Well, that was the story that went around, and I had nothing to say. I was trying to work out what I was supposed to have done. What was I supposed to do? Do you know what I mean?" So I got in a bit of trouble over that. I tell you what, every time I sneeze, something gets closer. Alright, well hopefully you figured out what movie this is from. If you guessed The Wicker Man, then congratulations, you win a prize. This clip is from the infamous and highly disturbing British horror film The Wicker Man, directed by Robin Hardy. It was released in 1973, and its initial release was not very successful. But since then, it has gained a cult following. And the general consensus among critics is that it is a great movie that is both terrifying and thought-provoking. So if you haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend watching it, but fair warning, it's disturbing stuff. So to recap, our protagonist is telling a story to someone off-screen, while he smokes a cigarette and drinks a drink. He's trying to remember something that happened during World War II, but he keeps forgetting, and he has to take drags from his cigarette to try to remember. And eventually he does remember, but it's something disturbing and traumatic. And after he tells his companion, they walk off together. Now, aside from the fact that this is such an obscure and strange scene, there's something else that makes it very strange, and that's the audio quality. This clip was originally uploaded by a user named Biker Bear, and it's labeled as mono, meaning that it was recorded on one track with everything mixed together. If that's the case, then why does it sound like the voices are coming from different directions? It's like sometimes it sounds like the protagonist is on the left and his companion is on the right. And sometimes it sounds like they're switched. Also, why does the volume of his companion change so drastically throughout the scene? At times, he's almost at the same volume as the protagonist, and at other times, he's barely audible. This wouldn't be possible unless the audio was manipulated, which means that this was most likely dubbed over the original audio. And if that's true, why? Why was the original audio removed? Was it too muffled to understand? If so, why wasn't it cleaned up? I've taken a few guesses. Perhaps the upload was intended to be a joke or a prank. Maybe whoever uploaded it wanted to confuse viewers and make them think that there was something wrong with their speakers. Or maybe it was just a simple mistake. Maybe they accidentally used the wrong audio file. These questions can unfortunately go unanswered because I doubt that we'll ever know. On a positive note, though, these technical difficulties actually make the scene funnier than it already is. I mean, imagine if this was played straight with perfect audio quality. It would be uncomfortable to watch. But having the voices panned around and the audio levels fluctuating just makes it seem so absurd. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Also, if you know any obscure clips that I should watch, then leave a comment down below. I'll see you next time. Bye.